Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've been meaning to make a video about this particular subject for a little while now, because not only do I have a lot of people going absolutely insane in my comments on my last TMNT video, because I reported on the fact that Scum was actually reported to be a male, and when I did the video, they were reported to be a male, then it was changed, and suddenly now they're female, so Splinter's no longer gay at the last minute, and everybody's mad because they were like, well, you're wrong, even though at the beginning of the video I said, well, this is based off of a rumor, but still, people get in their feelings about a kid's show apparently, while also criticizing me for getting in my feelings about a kid's show. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about April today, good old race swapped April, the likes of which that is apparently based in reality. This is something that I think is quite hilarious, because the artist behind April O'Neil in the new TMNT has recently come out and said that this particular version of April O'Neil was based in reality and should be relatable and grounded in the real world. Ladies and gentlemen, this super ugly O'Neil is supposed to be reality for black women and is grounded in the real world. If I was a black woman, I really don't know how I would feel about this, to be honest with you. So let's get into this article, guys. From Bounding into Comics, the headline says Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem character designer James A. Castillo says April O'Neil intended to look relatable and grounded in the real world in what may go down as one of the most insulting attempts at inclusivity in the history of Western entertainment. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem character designer James A. Castillo has revealed that the film's wildly panned take on April O'Neil was intended to make her character more relatable to modern audiences. Why is it that the word modernity or modern is immediately always tied to black people? Like, why? What is it that's modern about black people? Black people have been around since the beginning of time. I don't understand why now all of a sudden to these white liberals or liberals in general in Hollywood who are creating these characters that all of a sudden black is modern, black is modernity. That makes no fucking sense whatsoever. It really puts these people on a pedestal, the likes of which they love to worship on, and I just don't get why they're tied together. Why is modernity synonymous with black? I will never quite understand. So it says, as seen in the film, rather than resembling any of her fan favorite pre-Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles incarnations, Mutant Mayhem's version of April bears appearance more in line with her reptilian allies. Rather than looking like the white fit and curly brown / red-haired heroine many have come to know and love, this latest April is instead black, slightly frumpy, and wears her reddish brown hair in short dreadlocks. And according to the aforementioned Castillo, despite her appearance being so stereotypical of the various identity politics fueled character design philosophies that have taken root in modern Hollywood, that it could genuinely be considered a parody, every single aspect of it was genuinely meant to champion the concept of representation. Sharing a number of her design sheets to Twitter on August 4th, the character designer explained, when I joined Mutant Mayhem, my first assignment was to work on April O'Neil, no pressure. Well, I'm sure you couldn't wait to absolutely destroy this character, because again, they want to be able to self-insert themselves or self-insert their own identity politics into whatever they're creating. This is the reason why AI is taking over your jobs. This is the reason why you feel so threatened, because you know that the work that you put out is so subpar, the work that you put out is so basic that it can be replaced by a computer. So you're trying to strike right now, and you're going crazy, and you're fighting in the hopes that your jobs don't get replaced by honestly better programming. So I really don't feel bad for these people when they do stuff like this and get roasted for it, but of course this is where we are. So it says, we tried making her relatable and grounded in the real world while keeping some of the details that make her so iconic. He added, I personally love her in the film. Now, this is where it's most insulting, okay? This is where it's most insulting. It's bad enough the final design that was in the actual movie, okay? The one that everybody is roasting for being butt ugly and just god-awfully terrible, right? That was the final design. Little did we know that there was actually a couple of first designs that were even worse. I mean, God, how could you say that any of these are based in reality? The one in the middle is actually not that bad if you get rid of the mom jeans, but ultimately not that bad. That's probably more based in reality, at least from a cartoon version. I don't know what the fuck these two disgusting creatures are on the left or on the right. I don't know why you decided to create what looks to be a linebacker, April O'Neil, on the left, and some god-awful, ugly, nerd, male, tranny version on the right. I just really feel like they were going to try to go with some trans allegory of April O'Neil in the beginning and ultimately decided just to make her an ugly black chick. That's essentially what they did. But my God, if you guys can see on the screen, these first two pictures, this is terrible. I'm actually happy for the film that they went with the ugly black chick version and not this linebacker that's sitting on the left over here. What is this? Like, how could you seriously think that this was going to be a good idea? And the fact that this spawned from this, I honestly think is kind of impressive, because I can't even imagine how any of these become this. I just really can't. But again, apparently this for the creator Castillo, this is based in reality. This is grounded. This is what black women will connect with. I just can't. It's so insulting, and I'm not even black, and it's insulting to me, so I can only imagine how some of y'all feel. But it says, notably, it seems that the only details the Mutant Mayhem team considered so visually iconic to April's characters was her name, hair color, and association with the color yellow. In the interest of fairness, despite his obvious desire to give April dreads, the middle design on Castillo's early concept art sheet does attempt to retain her curly hair. While nobody has a problem with the middle one. The middle one would have been fine. That should have been the one he went with. I don't know why he went with the ugly one and made her fat, but again, they like to uglify women in video games and entertainment. You can't be a pretty female anymore. That's not progressive enough. It says, while 3 of the 4 sheets shared by Castillo depicted various test work for the version of April who made it into the film, most notable among them is the one depicting a trio of her early concept art. To this end, given the insight he provided in the very same tweet regarding his approach to her design, the dumpy, frazzled, potato-esque nature of these initial approaches raises curious questions as to just what qualities Castillo considers to be relatable to wide audiences. Following its publication, Castillo's tweet was unsurprisingly met with mixed reactions, with fans of the film expressing appreciation for his contributions and critics pushing back against the unnecessary altering of an iconic character's appearance. And then when engaging with both sides, the designer would address his supporters by retweeting a handful of their compliments. Turning to his critics, Castillo would simply retweet strange parties who had exclaimed, "The replies are a free block list. Oh my God, what the hell is wrong with some people?" But how could you not expect backlash for arts like this? Like, how could you? You know what? It's not even necessarily the art, because we've had different, like, look at the Rugrats, right? Rugrats, is some ugly ass kids, okay? Rugrats animation, that particular animation, nothing could look pretty or interesting with that particular animation. But you have characters that do look ugly, but are not tied to statements like, oh, we made this based in reality. We made this based in the real world. This is what we feel like black people look like, so we drew it like this. Like, that's such an insulting statement. That makes these ugly characters something more than just ugly characters. They could have stayed at ugly characters, but you decided to make it that much more by saying you based this in reality for black women. This is insane, man. It really is. I find this to be super insulting. And again, I'm not even black, and you know what? I'm not going to be insulted for black women. They could go figure out whether they want to be insulted on their own. But if I was a black woman, absolutely this would be making me question what Castillo actually thinks of black people or women in general. So it says, as noticed above, though Mayhem's April bears little in common with most of her predecessors, she is the second version of the character to be portrayed as a nerdy, bespectacled young black woman. And yes, it was indeed a point in time back in the 2018 to 2020 animated outing that she was in fact race swapped at one point. So this is nothing new, but this version of April O'Neil fits the actual animation. You know what I mean? Like, they tried to make her at least somewhat cool looking and still kept her black. I don't know what the fuck this is. I really don't know what this is, or why you would even, why would you post this? Why would you post this and then make this statement? I mean, you just buried yourself at the end of the day. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.